Okay, stage 5. We're going to learn about reverb or reverberation today, and we are going to record our voices. Only you are going to hear it, and I'm going to hear it, so it's you're not going to be asked to sing or do anything like that. It's just to test out as a sound engineer what reverb is and how we can apply it. Alright, now choose empty project, okay, and we choose that. And instead of this Green One software instrument, we want audio, and we're going to be using our MacBook microphone, Create. Okay, now as soon as I open that up, you'll see I'll get a different sort of controls here than what you normally see. And you can see as I speak, this green thing going up and down there, our level meter. Okay, so first thing is turn these purple buttons off because they're just annoying and we don't need a counting, we don't need a metronome, alright? And also up here, just close that because that's when you're choosing sounds in our sound library. We don't need that. The sound we're using in this little experiment is our voice. Okay. So now, if you don't have it selected, you click on this little knob here, and this gives you our settings. We want the track settings. Okay. And first of all, let's just record a track that's dry. Okay, so we hit the record button, and I'm going to, just for argument's sake, recite Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and that's all I need. Okay, just a few seconds. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Okay, you could record more if you want, but that will do. Okay, we're going to export that, and we're going to call that's dry. Dry means there's no effects or reverb. Okay, export song to disk. And we need to select not that, we need to select MP3, okay? And we just record no reverb, and I'd say that's going to go to my documents, okay? And I already did one earlier, so it's going to say replace. It won't do that to you, okay? Okay, so I've done that now. Now we are going to start applying some reverb. So if I scroll down here, see where it says plugins. We click on that, then scroll down a bit, and you'll see some blank spots where we can insert. Okay, and Nverb is one type of reverb, but we're going to look down here to show you that there's our groups of reverb. So Garageband has different types of what we call plugins, because in a professional studio there would be a rack full of machines or devices, and each one would be a dedicated reverb or compressor or one of these things. Okay, so these are different brands and types of reverb. Just for argument's sake, let's use the first one, Nverb. So click on Nverb, and look what we get here. So we're going to hold it for, let's see, what's the maximum we can do? Okay, 1 full second. Okay, so we're going to kick off, and we're going to do 2 more recordings, say about 320 milliseconds, so about sort of a third of a second. All right, and this here, we can you can have a bit of freedom here, but you just need to tell me what you've done. Let's make that 50%. Now that dry means that's the percentage of no reverb with reverb, okay? And wet is the amount of reverb, okay? So, alright, so we can mix that up a little bit as well, but our time is going to be 320 milliseconds. So let's record that. Oh, let's, okay, that should apply to that. Now let's have a listen to the playback. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Okay, so you can hear that. Export song to disk, and we're going to call that 320 milliseconds and 50% dry. Okay, so we put a few other settings in there so we know what it is, alright? That's going to my documents, alright? This is what you're going to export. There it is. It didn't take long because it's only very short. Okay, now see down here where it's put our Nverb, see where it's got the channel EQ and then it's got Nverb? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to up that to, I think we'll just do 3. Let's just go full bore and put it on a whole second. All right, see what that does. And we're going to put the sustain up a little bit. You can experiment a bit with these and see what happens. Okay, nothing bad will happen. You'll hear what it does to the sound. And we're going to put it up to about 80% wet. Okay, let's have a listen to that. And that's cool because you can hear that, oh, that's not so great. So that's a full second. It's like about 80% wet. Okay, right. Okay. Now, okay, what do we say? That's 1 second, and I think it was about 80% wet from my experience. We put a bit of sustain on there as well, so it's a little bit wild. Export, okay, and you're going to upload that to the task as well. Now, this one we're going to call it our ideal thing. What I want you to do is experiment with these settings until you get your ideal. So it's not going to be a whole second. We're going to wind that sustain down to maybe about here, and it's up to you to density. Let's knock that back a bit. Oh yeah, it was 80%. Instead of 80%, let's bring that down. Now, what I want you to do is experiment and listen. Experiment, listen, so that we get a nice effect. Okay? Mary had land, its fleece was white as snow. Okay, so that's not great. I think that if I bring that back and the sustain, I'm going to knock back that to 0, and I'm going to bring this back to about 270 milliseconds. Let's see what that's like. You can hear something weird is happening there. Oh, hang on, I've got attack. Let's have 10 milliseconds attack. That will probably make it a bit better. Let's just try that. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. Okay, I'm going to call that my ideal recording. All right, I don't know if you can hear that very well. I'm going to call that my ideal recording, and I'm going to share that. And that's what I'm going to also upload. And if you want to, you can also just add a few things like how many seconds I forgot how much what I did there, but I turned the sustain right down so we didn't get that reverse effect. That can be quite cool if that's what you want in your remix, using that reverse effect. Okay, and export that. Okay, and that's job done. Oh, then you can also save the file if you want, but you don't have to once you've experimented and exported your tracks and you've learned about Reverb.